Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. We're going to be finally doing this torque converter on the car. Actually, there's a few things I'm going to do. I was going to do them all separate, but you know what? It's just too much work to be doing it all separate. Let's just say that we know that the torque converter is probably going to make the most difference. We're going to do the Steeda drive shaft and the 410 or 411 gears. They're Yukon gears on a Torsen rear limited slip in an iron case, and so that's just going to be a straight swap for the 355. You know, if I don't like them, I can just switch it right back. So but I am going to try it, and I don't want to take all this stuff off and then do it again. So I'm just going to do it all in one shot. What we have here is a 245 millimeter torque converter. This is 38 to 4,000 RPMs, and there's the Steeda drive shaft, and there's a diff. Those are my stock axles. I just stuck them in there to seal the ends until I put it in. So I had to pull one of the bearings out of the side because the guy that had it, that I bought it from, he had it dry, and the problem is the outer bearing that goes on the stub shaft had like a little bit of rust, surface rust on it. So I pulled the bearing out, replaced the bearing, replaced the seal on that side. The inside looks really good, so I just made sure I cleaned it out a little bit, but it was real clean, pretty much. And then just reseal the diff cover and just put some oil in it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove the exhaust, the whole thing. It'll be easier to get this drive shaft out. I am not going to work around it. So you got these clamps here that slide forward. You can take the H off, but I'm going to leave it probably in one piece, I think, and just take this whole thing down. So you got two hangers here and then a hanger on each side back here. Alright, so I got the exhaust completely removed. The plugs here, where I put it, like once you take that, this is like the white part you slide back to unlock it. Yeah, I actually had to like lift on that tab in there instead of push it down. I mean, I tried pushing it, but I had to stick something on. Now I see it lifting now, but I had a hard time with that. So you got the bolt here. It kind of, the hanger hangs in there, and then bolt up there, two bolts here. Now I have these stainless works headers, so I took those little S pipes out. I popped the shifter cable off. You just take a pry bar, put it in there, and just lightly push away, and it'll pop off, so that you can take it out of park. So you can rotate it and take these 12 millimeter bolts out for this drive shaft, and then you'll be able to turn it to get these out too, and then take the center support deal out, and then that'll be gone. And when we get the new one in, we'll deal with that. But I also have a drive shaft safety loop that bolts in here somewhere. I think it uses this stuff up here. So just getting you caught up to what I had to do so far. I'm just getting all this clear right now. Probably gonna get to the torque converter bolt soon, and then get the trans jack set up to support the pan, and that way I'll have some more room. Alright, so for these torque converter bolts, let's see if I can get it up in there. So you see that there's the stud that's coming out of the torque converter. Now the best way to do it is you come on this side and you put a wrench in here, or a pry bar in here, and just turn it like this. And when you see the nut here, you know that if you see a nut on this hole, that you're gonna see the bolt on this side. So that way you don't have to, if you're by yourself, you don't have to keep like looking back and forth. You're gonna see, when you see one here, there's one on the other side. All right, so fast forward, it's out. Now, the last thing I was doing was those torque converter bolts. Then I took that cross member down back here. There's 3 bolts that go to the back, and then the ones that go up there. These bolts, so they must, like, the engineers must hate, because they could have just put all of these style bolts in, but what they did is on this one had this with that little, there was nothing on it, that little stud. So by having that in there, I had to have a deep socket, and that was a big pain in the ass to get it on there, because there isn't a lot of room when you let it down to get a socket on there. Like, you need a medium medium length. Short is too short. The long one is, I mean, I got it to work, but it's just kind of too long. So when I put it back up, I'm going to put these with the studs on the bottom, because these are easy to get to, so that's not a problem. And then I would recommend just like putting these in here before you put it up there. That way you don't have to try to get them up there. And then once you go to put this back on, you can just thread it back in with the extension. On top you have a breather, and there is that hose right there. That just slides right off. Here you have the wire harness for the transmission, which is this big thing here. So you squeeze it together, push it up. This shifter cable I just took off with the 2 10mm bolts on the side of the transmission. And then on top, this kind of holds it. So this one's like the barb, and this one's like a locator. And that goes on the driver's side, right there. And then your cooler lines right here. 1 10mm bolt right there. The car didn't run for a while, so I didn't have too much coming out of there. So yeah, we're good. The flex plate looks okay. I don't see any cracks. And I got, just for now, I strapped it down to this. I'm going to take this off. Obviously I won't be able to put this up there. So I just got to slide this converter out, put the new one in, and stuff it back up in here. Other thing they tell you to do before you get this on a trans and try to put this in is these bolts that are in here, and I'll show that on the old one. So on the new one, they want you to just take the converter and put it on the flywheel without the transmission, and make sure it fits in the holes right, and that this piece here easily goes into the end of the crank. All right, I got it all back up in here. All I did is just raise it up, and after I got the very top 2 bolts, like I said, I fed those up there. They were already in the holes, so I just had to stick the long extension with this hanging down over the top with a like a wobble socket, and was able to easily tighten those, and then the rest are easily gotten from here. I still left this off because I'm still going to do the drive shaft, so that way I can just turn this at will. But I got There's the rubber plug, goes back in that hole. Got the starter back on with your 2 wires. And like I said, I'm going to call it for today, but this was not that bad. And the transmission just went like right in, no problem. So I was happy with that. And I got this plugged back in. All the little holders are back, pushed in their little holes so they don't move. I'm leaving this hang down for now because tomorrow I'm going to drop the pan and just change the fluid. The fluid looks good, so since it looks good, I'm going to change the whole thing, because if it was really bad, I don't know. Sometimes they say that you shouldn't mess with it, but it looks like whoever had this before me maintained it pretty well. So, and then I'll be pulling this thing out and putting that 411 in here, and this weekend we'll get it done. Alright, so my next move here is I'm going to pull this differential out. So I know I just put this axles in, but it don't take that long. So basically I am just going to get the axles out, and we got 4 bolts. You got 2 there and 2 up here, and the diff just drops right out. So I am going to get going on that. I'm not going to go too crazy on that because that's pretty basic. I just did a video on the taking the rear axles out, and I'm not the only one that's done it, so plenty out there for that. And then we'll get this get this drive shaft put in, and I can start putting the exhaust back on. I will not have a trans filter till tomorrow, so I decided, like I said earlier, that I'm gonna service it, so I'm just gonna finish it up tomorrow. But that's all I plan on doing tomorrow, is just a fluid change. So the pinion angle is gonna be close, because what I plan on doing is, for this here, the drive shaft safety loop comes with a spacer that goes in between here and this mount, because when you put it on, it sandwiches in between here, and this is going to lower the transmission. So if the angle is better with it lowered, then I'm not going to put the spacer in. So I want to see where it's at and see if it'll actually work out, because that'll decide whether or not I put that spacer in there. So I just use a protractor, and they're actually the same pitch. So the transmission right now is pitched down at the same angle the rear end is pitched up. So that should be good. So when I switch the differentials, I'll double check that one's the same, but it should be, because of the way it mounts. It shouldn't change anything. So that's good. So we'll get to that. All right. So it's about 45 minutes later. Got everything popped out. So pretty much just gonna take these 4 bolts out, and I'm gonna use obviously the trans jack, and get this thing out. Right, so basically that's all there is to it. Starting to like this platform a lot better. Just so much simpler, I think. Anyway, the only thing you got on the top is a breather tube that connects. You just got to unhook it, and so you might have a problem getting this out with an impact, because the rubber bounces a little bit and the impacts are not getting on it very well. So that being the case, you just have these 4 bolts, and it just drops right out. So the hardest part is going to be me picking up that other one and getting it on this thing. But other than that, if you got 2 people, it's not a problem. But right now I don't. So we'll see. All right, so I got it swapped out. Literally took about 20 minutes. Axles are popped back in just to, I got to fill it up still through here. So I already put a cord in it the other day, but yeah, these were not that bad. Your best bet's a short, stubby socket here because you come close to that. So it's kind of hard, but yeah, everything's looking good. So now I can just throw the back suspension back together, or spindles back on, I should say, and the brakes. And then this is the drive shaft. All right, so I decided while I was down here just to go ahead and put the drive shaft in. So when you put these in here, I got it in park now. These bolts you got to get in first, like before you even try to put this flange on this flange. You have to get the bolts in there first because they'll hit here. So once you get them in there, you get them started and tighten. There's one on each side. Tighten these down all the way, and then once it sucks it in to the flange, then you can put the other bolts, the Allen bolts in. But yeah, put it in neutral. Everything feels good, nice and smooth. So I got everything back here buttoned up. I'm gonna get a deeper socket. I gotta stop by my work. I don't want to use the shallow one again. Got the BMR safety loop on, so basically it goes underneath or on top of this mount. And what I did here is it did not come with a spacer plate, but it did come with extra washers. So I put a couple there just to kind of make up the difference that this mount is lower. So it should be pretty close. It's like probably one more washer would have been exactly the same, but I'm gonna just leave it like that for now. The only thing I gotta see is those things right there. I gotta make sure because they go here, and I don't know if they're gonna clear this thing. I might have to rotate them more or something. So I'll have to check that out. But for the most part, tomorrow I'm getting the trans fluid, and I should be able to take this for a drive. So I had to do a slight revision because, like I said, those things there needed clearance for this bracket here. So it is slotted, so I was able to just slide this forward, and then I turn these to a good spot where they're not gonna come close to hitting. So it would have to move quite a bit for those to hit. So I'm good with that. So tomorrow I should be getting all the rest of the stuff so I could do this trans filter. I can't put this back up yet because it goes where the pan goes. So, and then the O2s just need to be plugged back in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finally being done with it. Also back here, you want to make sure that you have clearance for that plug. And there's plenty there, but sometimes it's really close and it could rub that sharp edge there. So this side's got plenty of room. So just look out for that if you have the active exhaust. So what I did under here is I put a level here to level the car on the lift, and also checked right there as well. We'll have the car as level as possible so that your fluid level is as close to being correct as you're going to need it to be. And how I did that was basically like I just showed you with the level, but I used these jacks to slightly lift the car up and screw these up or down to level the car, because these arms aren't perfectly straight when they're out. Like these tilt downward a little bit, so you can't have them exactly the same. So the car is level front to back, side to side, so we can get our best reading. I'm just waiting for that fluid to come here. But what I did get from Amazon is this, you pump up the handle and you can pump the oil in. And I got it does it in metric, but what I did was, it's slightly above because when I put this in there, it raised it up a little bit, but I put 1 quart in, marked it, another quart, marked it, another, and so on. So I know that when you fill it without this in there, it's not taking up any space, so it will be at these lines instead. But it's just a very close idea, so you know how much you're putting in there at a time. All right, we're about to drop the pan down. Now, there's a few studs here, and this is what holds, there's like the heat shield that goes up here. So when you put the bolts back in, if you want to hold the heat shields up, if you can't remember which ones they went to, you can do that. But what I'm going to do though is this winter, I'm going to put the aluminum, I can't remember, the PRC or P whatever C. I'm going to change out this plastic one. I just don't like the setup, and it's kind of flimsy when I had it on the trans jack. So just to solve any other problems. But what I'm going to do is, I got this right underneath it, so I'm just going to take all the bolts out towards the back, leave a couple towards the front so it could tip and dump most of it in the pan, and then just waiting on that filter. So this may be the cleanest transmission drain I've ever done. All I got is just a couple drops on the floor, and I got the pan off. It was uneventful because I was able to bring this tray all the way up, went from the back to the forward, let it pour out the back. And for this high mileage car, either the guy had this thing serviced quite often, or this isn't the original transmission. To me, it looks like it is the original one just from the outside. But I will say that the fluid was bright red, so no looks of burnt anything. There was no metal shavings on the actual magnet, so I'd say that's pretty damn good. So we will proceed. Okay, so I got the new Ford filter in. Just so you know, when I got the new one, I was like, what is wrong with the inside of it? But this is the one that came out of it, and it's got that knocking sound inside. That's normal. So if you get one and my first thought was, what's the deal with that? But that's normal. That one did the same thing. So you just got your, your 2 bolts. This one's a real long one, and that one's a shorter one. It's a lot shorter. Another thing, you can reuse the original pan gasket. And also on the front of this, I didn't see it at first because the seal here, it's about the size of this, but just makes it thicker. It was stuck on here and I didn't see it, and I was like, the new one didn't come with one. I reused the old one because there's nothing wrong with it. So I just got to put the pan on and fill this thing up. Like I mentioned before, if you don't remember where those stud style bolts go, you could just hold that up in place, and you see it's this front one and this one here, and I knew those around the corner there. So that's all you have to do. So people have all kinds of different styles of putting the oil in. I got this pump that I showed earlier, and it's got the top just comes out. At first I took this whole top off, and then I realized you don't have to do it, just the center comes out. So it's got that little bowl on the top. You just pour it up in here, and then when you're done, you just screw the pump part in there, and then just pump it up and the air pressure will push it in. So I have 3 quarts in there. The only thing you want to do though is when you set this down, make sure you put it on like a clean rag or something like that, so you don't put dirt up in here. Just screw it back in. And it's flowing. You can't really see it, but like you can kind of see it. But this is the second time, so it's about 6 quarts. If I empty this out, I don't think I'm going to get that far, but you got a shut-off valve here, and then there's like a bendable flex part there that you can aim right into the hole. And then if you need to drop the pressure or release it, just lift that handle and it'll bleed off all the pressure. Okay, so it's been sitting with the battery unhooked for a few days. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but now I only put a quart in the torque converter, so I have to start it so it can get through. I'm going to hold the brake, put it in reverse, and then drive, and then back to park, shut it off, and then I got to recheck the fluid levels. So here we go. Alright, so now we're going to put it back up and I will check where we're at with the fluid. Okay, so with the engine running, you're going to put the dipstick in up here. And we are at the lower portion of A, and that's been running a little bit, so I'm going to leave it there. It's not hot, it's kind of in the middle, so I'm going to call that good. So we're just going to put this in there and put the cap back on, and that's it. Alright, so it's all done now. It took a total of 12 quarts, so it's supposed to take 13 total, but obviously there's fluid throughout the throughout the transmission and the trans cooler. That's probably the last quart that's not there, because I put 1 quart in the torque converter, and then I put obviously 11 more in there, and this is what's left. So there's a quart left, so it sounds about right. This went very well. The best thing is to have it on a lift. I mean, I can't imagine trying to do this on the ground, and also leveling the car on the lift so that I can get the right measurement for the fluid level. Yeah, so I can't wait. So then I'm going to end it with this, because this has probably been long enough. You're going to have to skip through it to see certain things, but I will do another one on the performance of it. Now, I do have an E80. Lund sent me a tune to update the rear axle ratio. They told me there's nothing for the torque converter is needed, so we'll see. I mean, I could kind of see that because the torque converter locks up after first gear, so I don't see a drivability thing there. So I could see that. But anyway, I have tunes for 355 setup and the 411 setup. and also on E85. So I'm going to do the testing on 93 because that's what's in it right now. And then when the 93 is empty, I'll switch over to E85 and do some more tests with that. But I'm really interested to see where we're at now with it. I'm anticipating it's going to be pretty good. I got the shock set up for no prep stuff right now, so that should help it hook up, and we'll see what happens. So until next time, we will catch you on the next one.